Good day, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our second online seminar. My name is Sasha. I will be your moderator for today. But before we start with today's topic, the sorting of clean wood, I would like to briefly introduce our agenda. First, we will have a presentation of about 15 to 20 minutes. And afterwards, we will switch to a Q&A session where you can get your questions answered live. Our registered users will have the opportunity to ask their questions down below in the chat, where I will be collecting all of your questions and later forward them to our expert. And that's everything I wanted you to know, so please welcome together with me our today's expert, Björn.
Hello, a very warm welcome from my side as well. Thank you, Sasha, for the introduction. So today we are here to talk about clean wood recycling. And to give you a brief overview why we are doing that, I want to show you some figures in advance. So the global wood consumption is increasing constantly. So we have always more and more wood that we need. If you look around where you are at the moment, maybe you will see wood everywhere. So it's a very important product, yeah. And the consumption of fresh wood is that high that in 2020 already we need renewable wood because we don't have enough fresh wood anymore. If we see as well, the price of the fresh wood, or in general of wood, is increasing over the years. We had a peak in 2021, we know it. There, the wood price increased by almost 400%. Nevertheless, we need to find a solution for that. We need to find a solution to substitute fresh wood, and we need to find a solution to bring the price down, because it's always as well about economy. Here we see the increased demand for recycled wood. In the past, wood was always there for energetic consumption. Now we use it as well to replace fresh wood for furniture, for all the products you see around your desk or wherever you are in the world at the moment. So here we have a global impact. I just want to get you a brief overview as well. What does it mean if we use too much fresh wood? Only in Germany, 20% of the CO2 is bound in the trees that we have around here. And if we tear them down, we will create an environmental problem. So therefore, and due to the fact that we don't have that much fresh wood anymore, we need to substitute this. We need to use recycled wood for the industry. And we as STEINERT, we are working on that. You know us as a company with a lot of separators, with a lot of things we can use to separate things into grades, and especially wood is a topic we are focusing on at the moment. You see here a big hump of recycled shredded wood, and this is the input material to a sorting plant. And if you treat this material, if you take out all the impurities, and if you use the material that you have as a final product to bring it back into the process, we can create a valuable material and a valuable process for you together with you. Here we see some impurities and some good material that is in the input material and that we can separate. I don't want to go through all these figures that you see on the left side, so you can have a look on your own. Nevertheless, if you look at the right side picture from my side, we have there the A wood, so the good quality wood on the bottom, and we have impurities like plastic, stones, leather, and other wood types that needed to be sorted out, like MDF, like chipboard, like plywood, and so on. And we as STEINERT, we figured out a concept. It's worthwhile to mention this is a general concept. It's not the only concept. Together with our experts, together with me, together with the people in the test center, we can adjust such a concept and a process due to your needs. So this is important. But here we have a general concept I want to talk about. I want to show you the units we use to separate the material. If you look at this flowchart, it's very important to mention that preparation of material is very important. If you don't prepare your material in the right way, nobody can sort it in the proper way. That's important to know. the fines, the very light fines, needed to be screened out. Under 2 millimeter, we see here the lights or whatever, dust, fines, we can't process it. Nobody can process it. Then you create a fines fraction. The grain size range depends on the process and can be figured out in a special test or whatever. I would say it's always good to screen it at -20, but this is a rough figure for you. Maybe you can screen it at -40, maybe at -10, but here I would like to say -20 is a good number, and this fine fraction you can treat with different sorters. We will go through it later. The medium coarse fraction is the important fraction for your A-wood quality. Afterwards, you treat it as well with different STEINERT sorters, different steps. In the end, we have our neon thread sorters after other sensor sorters to create valuable A-wood products. Let's have a closer look on the different stages we just talked about. So if you have the fines, we recommend a ferrous and non-ferrous separation, because it's always in, you have some nails, you have some non-ferrous material, some aluminium and so on, and this can be sorted out to have a fine metal-free product that you can bring back into your process probably later on, or that can go to incineration if you want. And these are examples of units we use to separate out the ferrous and the non-ferrous metals. I don't want to go too deep into detail here, how these units are made or whatever, because there will be another online seminar. Andreas Jäger will do that in 1 week time, and he will speak about these units more into detail. So if you're not registered so far, please register yourself. It's very interesting next week. Nevertheless, on the left side, we see our magnetic head pulley, or we can have as well a magnetic overfeed drum. These are permanent magnet drums. And with these units you can separate fine magnetic material out of the stream. In the middle, the well-known STEINERT overbelt magnet UME, an electromagnet, available as well as permanent magnet. You have to install it inline. I would say for sure crosswise works, but inline is the better way. And with this unit you can separate ferrous metals out of a stream up to big items. You see it on the bottom. There are some examples, some products that came out of this magnet. On the right side, our very well-known eddy current. We have the eccentric pole system, adjustable, and with this unit you can take out all the non-ferrous metals, mainly aluminium, but as well copper, zinc, brass, whatever. You can separate out of the wood product, and now you have a pre-treated product. Or if you talk about fines, you have a fine fraction of wood that you can reuse, that you can burn or whatever. And if you talk about the coarse fraction that we will see later on, you prepare the material with these sorters to do the next step. Here, to remind everybody, this is the medium and coarse fraction separation, the pre-treatment, and afterwards the upgrade. Let's have a closer look as well. I mean, we discussed already the UME and the eddy, so that means we prepared with physical separation, ferrous and non-ferrous separation. And then we use sensor sorters. You always maybe have some lost metals there. You can have some stainless steel there. You can have copper wires there, very thin material, and the eddy current probably will miss some. So we could use here an ISS that you see on the left side on the top. An ISS is an induction sorter. You have an induction sensor under the belt and detects all metals that pass through. In general, to give you an overview how such a unit works, you have a feeding, vibrating feeder, or a disc spreader. And the disc spreader is a very good feeder for wood products sometimes. Then you have a belt, you have the sensor, and after the sensor you have a nozzle bar, and you separate with air in this case. The ISS, as mentioned, with an induction sorter to take out all the lost metals, stainless steel metals that you can't separate with an eddy or with a magnet. On the right side, on the top, you see our XSS, an X-ray transmission. We have different types of XSS sensors, but for this application we use the transmission. It's a very well-proved X-ray source, and this X-ray source works with a dual energy X-ray source, and it separates or it detects by density. And if you ask me now, why should I use an X-ray? We still could have some metals, or you could replace as well the ISS. It's doing the same job as an ISS plus some advantages. You have inerts, you have stones, you have rubber, maybe you have 3D plastics there, and you want to separate them out. And in this case, you can use an ISS and an XSS on top to have everything out of this product. And then we have a prepared wood product, metal-free, free of innards, free of stones, free of all the things that you want to have out, and you can use it or reprocess it in an upgrade. And now we talk about this upgrade section. After the upgrade or after the pre-sorting, you see their screen, and I want to go back to the things I said at the beginning. Preparation of material is very important. In such a flow, in a wood recycling process, you create fines. You can't avoid it. Material is dropping down, material is transported by conveyors, by feeders, and so on. You shoot with air, and some of the chipboard or whatever will break. And if you don't take this out, you will not have these results you can achieve with a very well prepared material. So what we would recommend here is, before the upgrade, before the near infrared sorters, use another screen, take the fines out, and then process the material on our Unisort sorters to create a valuable product. That's how these units look like. It's worthwhile to mention, we as STEINERT, we provide a complete package, the complete unit, including conveyor belts, including scanner, including nozzle bar, and including the catcher hood. So a complete plug-and-play solution. You don't have to worry about interfaces in this case. You just feed it and use this unit. On the left side, our standard Unisort. On the right side, our Unisort Black. Let me shortly give you an overview about the differences. The standard Unisort uses a near-infrared camera system to detect the material. The black one as well, looking in another area, and we maybe all know that a near-infrared sorter is blind for black objects. This Unisort Black can detect black objects. Can't tell you if it's a black stone, a black rubber, a black PP, PE, but a black object. You want to have them out of your wood material, so that's why you could use a black in this case as well. Here, some overviews or some topics about our near-infrared sorter. It's very important to mention we use a HSI technology. So this is a hyperspectral imaging technology, a near-infrared camera. It's not a spectrometer, and we collect a lot of data, and we analyze this data very intensive. On 1 meter belt, our sorting bridge, everything included, computer, light bars, near-infrared camera, cooling system, everything is inside. And on 1 meter, this near-infrared sorter measures 320 points on the belt in a line scan. So we have almost no black dots on the belt, we see everything. And there's a signal coming back. This is near-infrared signal, and the computer analyzes this near-infrared signal. You see on the left side, on the bottom, you see a near-infrared resolution curve. And we as STEINERT, we put 256 measurement points on the near-infrared resolution curve. So therefore, we really can distinguish not only between plastics and wood, paper, whatever, cardboard, but as well between different types of wood. A-wood, chipboard, melamine, what's a coated material in the end, honestly. Chipboard I mentioned already, plywood, all these things. We really see a difference in the near-infrared spectrum, and if you see a difference, you can separate it. We have a huge database. We are doing this since a lot of time. So with this huge database and everything, we really can create a valuable product for you. That's important to mention. There's AI-based sorting available, but this is something that I want to talk maybe later about. Here you see what we are doing. You have at the beginning, as I said, the shredded wood. You receive it and you shred it and then you treat it. And then you can use it probably for chipboard production. You substitute your fresh wood with available recycled wood. It's good for the environment, it's good for you as a recycler and as well as a producer. On the top you find our sorting for wood material solution guide. Our experts put this everything together in a small brochure. And if you see the QR code, if you have your mobile with you now, you can scan it and you can download it and enjoy watching it. So it's interesting to see as well what our expert did. Now to summarize everything. I know we don't have that much time, so and it's a short presentation. Please remember, if you have more questions or if you want to go deep into detail, we have our area sales managers around. I'm here and so on. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact us afterwards. We help you and we will answer all your questions, even the questions we can't answer now during this presentation. But here you see the overview again. Important to mention, take out the very fines, take the fine fraction for ferrous and non-ferrous separation, and the medium coarse fraction, maybe 20 plus or whatever. You treat, you separate out ferrous, non-ferrous, you separate out inerts, stones, glass, maybe rubber, all the plastics, and then after you sorted out all the impurities, you sort it into valuable fraction, A, natural wood, chipboard, multiplex USB, MDF, whatever you want to do. For sure as well, we can equip our neon thread sorter, for example, with a color camera, so that can be important if you want to have painted wood out of your stream. Even A wood but painted, we could take it out if we see it. Remembering that is a surface scan for sure. Here is a showcase, or this is a very successful story I just wanted to mention, and I'm happy about it because it was a project we did 3 years roughly ago with the company Fantoni in Italy, close to Udine. We did the complete concept together with Marco Fantoni and his team. We are all very happy because this plant is running quite well. We have a complete full equipped STEINERT plant there. He's treating 50 tons of wood per hour, 250,000 tons a year of recycled wood. We have ferrous separators, we have non-ferrous separators, we have our X-ray sorters there, we have the neon thread sorters there. Very successful story, and thank you to Mr. Fantoni as well from this side again, because it was very nice to do the project together. Yeah, and the plant is running now. It's producing a lot of fresh wood, good wood, not fresh wood, good recycled wood for MDF and chipboard production. Mr. Fantoni is happy, we are happy. It was a great success story, and thank you very much from this side as well, if you're listening. Important to mention is how do we evaluate which units we use. For sure you see, as I mentioned before, we have this general concept that can be adjusted, but for sure material is different from every customer, somehow different from every customer. So we have a huge test center now close to our head office here where we are at the moment. It's 5 kilometers away, 3,000 square meter of test center with a fully equipped line for waste recycling. It's a feeding bunker, it's a wind sifter, it's a magnet, it's a ballistic separator included, and for sure the eddies, our neon thread sorters, and the X-ray sorters. Everything is there, and you can bring your material. We can do tests in an industrial scale. Together with our expert there, we can show you what you can do with your material. We can show you how you can create a valuable product, and for sure we can show you how you can earn money in the end as well with this. So important to mention. Don't hesitate to contact us for test date, to talk to our expert, to do a good project together. So this would be very nice from our side. In the end, this is what I wanted to talk about in short 15-20 minutes. For sure you can always go more deep into detail, but as time is running out, I would like to say thank you for listening to this presentation, and now I think Sasha will come in and we will talk about your questions. Feel free to ask as much questions as you want. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Björn, for your presentation. There were some questions in the chat, not that many actually, but maybe if you have further questions, I will follow up and see what we can answer. So, starting with the last questions we got. Christina asked, how fast is the conveyor belt, and do we sort mono or multi-layer of wood?
Okay, first of all, the conveyor belt is adjustable with a frequency converter. We have high-speed belts running up to 4.5 meter per second on the neon thread sorters, for example. The eddies, they run with 2.6 meter roughly. Important to mention, we can build a belt with 6-8 meter per second, but it don't make sense here. It must make sense for good results, and we can figure out as well during a test or whatever what's the best speed for such a belt. Yeah, but as I mentioned, such belts, they are adjustable, running between 2.6, 2.8 up to 4.5 meters per second, depending on the unit, depending on the infeed, depending on the grain size, on the bulk weight, and depending on the sorting task.
Okay, you already mentioned our AI sorting technology, and Michaela asked, do you use AI for this application as well?
We use AI. That's first of all good information for everybody who is interested. AI is a big topic at the moment, artificial intelligence, and we have it as an option for our neon thread sorters, for example. Nevertheless, I explained during the presentation how many points we scan and how deep we analyze this neon thread signal. So we just don't need it. There is at the moment no added value to use AI instead of neon thread in this case. We see all the difference in the spectrum already. So we don't need this AI to separate MDF from A-wood or from chipboard or whatever. We don't need it, but it's available from STEINERT. So in the future, maybe there will be an application as well for wood sorting where we could use it. At the moment, we use it more for silicon tubes, for example, or for other special applications.
Yeah. And maybe it's good to mention that if you want to know more about AI sorting technology, you can also go to our website where you find more information about this, as well as the solution guide if you weren't fast enough to scan the QR code and much more. So, then there is another question. I don't know what's the surname and what the other name, pre-name. Well, can you sort pre-broken material before producing wood chips? Pre-broken material.
Whatever it means,
Maybe.
for sure. I mean, as I mentioned, we need to screen the material or have a dedicated grain size. As wider the grain size range is, as less precise such a sorting works. Yeah. But what means pre-broken? For sure, it must be shredded. Compounds must be open.
No. Oh, sorry.
But honestly speaking, I mean, maybe it's better to discuss this question more into detail directly. So feel free to contact us, and for sure we have an answer on that if you define a little bit deeper into detail.
Okay, yeah, he was talking about bigger particles.
Bigger particles. Normally you say you separate up to 300, 350 millimeters. We have a nozzle bar, we work with precious air, yeah, but you have to have as well the opportunity to bring it over a splitter. So you need a special force, and if the items are too big or too heavy, for sure you can't separate them anymore. And if you don't open them, if you don't shred them, you will have compounds and so on. It's not that good for sorting, but yeah, we are speculating a little bit. So please contact us and we will go deeper into discussion with you.
You already mentioned the preparation of material. I think we don't have to get into much more detail. I think, it depends on your application, so we have to discuss this afterwards.
Take the fines out. That's important to keep in mind. Please take the fines out. Fine and dusty material. However, tell you something different, this will create problems in the sorting.
Okay. Then you were talking on your last slide about our test center, and one of the most important topics there obviously is how do we define qualities, and also do we give guarantees?
Right, for sure we give guarantees if they are requested, no question. The quality of the input material or as well of the sorted material can be defined by the scanner, because our scanner gives you a complete overview of the in-feed material. Always, you don't need a special program for it. You don't have to buy a special program. This we have on our unit. Nevertheless, for sure, we can do hand sorting afterwards. We can take samples. We analyze the samples, and based on that, we can give individual guarantees to all the customers based on your material. So recovery guarantees, purity guarantees, and for sure, if you come to our test and see with your own eyes what's possible and what we can achieve based on that, we can have a successful project together.
All right. And the last open questions, up until now at least, is do you have mobile machinery for wood applications?
Yes, I mean, I think everybody knows STEINERT comes from the stationary sorting. So all our units were made for stationary sorting, but we see that there's a high demand for mobile sorters, and we had a look into it. And there's the Eddy Move available, for example. It's a complete standalone eddy current separator on a hook lift, with a generator, with electric power, plug and so on. You can run it completely separate from everything else. We have a feeding system there, or you feed it. We have a belt there. We have an overbelt magnet to take the ferrous out. It's a neodymium, very strong overbelt magnet. And then we have a 2-meter eddy current. So for high throughput rates, you can run up to 30 tons on such a unit to separate non-ferrous material out with this eddy current. This is what we have at the moment. Interesting program. Please have a look at our website. You find as well all the information there about the Eddy Move. Very good, interesting product.
Okay, there's a new question. Which equipment is recommended in the case that we need to separate wood based on color?
Wood based on color. I mean, as I mentioned before, our near-infrared sorter can be equipped with a color camera. In this case, I would use this unit. For sure, we have combined system with color cameras, but this is the right unit here. So our Unisort unit with a color camera, and this unit can detect colors, and for sure we separate with air. This is possible for sure. Keeping in mind always it's a surface scan, so you look from the top, and if you have a piece of wood that's colored on one side and on the other side, it's a 50-50 chance. But this is how it is for sure.
Physics.
It's physics. Yeah, but we have this in our portfolio for sure.
So that's all the questions we have right now. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact us. Go to our website, look for our contact finder, and you will get your answers afterwards. So thanks again for your presentation. Thank you for attending. And I would like to briefly mention next week's presentation. This will be an online seminar about the magnet technology for the waste sorting or separation solutions. And see you there, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you from my side as well. Thank you for attending. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions as well.
Yeah.
I mean, recycling business is on a journey, and we would like to ask you, come with us on this journey, become a member team of STEINERT, and have a successful future together.
Yeah. See you.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. See you.